Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and I'm here to talk to you about the books I would like to read in June of 2023. Now, a couple things before we really get into it. Please ignore the giant stack of books that you can see over here. That is my bookshelf in here, and those are all of the books that were in the storage unit that I'm slowly picking my way through and deciding if I'm keeping or not. So I just have things stacked everywhere, so if you'd like to see an unhauling video or all of the books that I'm deciding I'm not keeping, let me know down below, because I'm kind of debating if I want to film that or not, because it will be a lot of books. Also, I plan on doing a lot of mood reading in June. My birthday is in the early part of June, and I have really kind of pulled back this month from book clubs and a lot of specific book reads, especially as of late. But this month I'm really kind of taking it to the next level, and I'm going to allow myself to mood read and just really pick up whatever I want. A big part of that is I've been really wanting to read historical, but I feel like I just keep getting pulled in a different direction. And while I have been so far meeting my goal of reading at least one or two historicals a month, I haven't really gone on a historical binge, and every time I've wanted to, I've kind of like stopped myself from doing that, because then I know like I won't escape it for several books. And I want to do a historical binge. I'm wearing my historical clinch sweatshirt today, and I need more historical in my life. It is very cozy for me. I'm not a big celebrate my birthday kind of person. I've never been one to have a big party. Growing up, this might sound silly, but my birthday was like, especially at my dad's house, was what do you want to do for your birthday? Well, let's go do something for your birthday. I always picked family activities. And I always wanted to be together as a family. And especially at my dad's house, like, that's how I got everybody to sit down and play board games with me. It's my birthday. I want to play a board game as a family. That's what I want. And then we also did like mini golf and things like that. But my biggest thing was, we're going to sit down and we're going to play board games together. And it was more just being with the people that I wanted to be with. So yeah, I am not a big like birthday, but I'm going to treat myself this year, and I'm going to read whatever I want. And yeah, and it's going to probably be a lot of historical romances. But before we get into kind of my mood reading escapades, let's talk about things that I do have planned. Now, there is one book club that is not on hiatus this month that I am participating in. I usually do 3 book clubs. 2 of them, like I mentioned, are on hiatus. So the one that is not is the Ilona Andrews Read Along. It is hosted by Steph from Novelty Corner, Heather from Hia Booktubes, Izzy from Happy for Now, and Megan, who's the Meowthbader. And we are currently in the Ilona Andrews is the author, Innkeeper Chronicles series. And we are at the final book, book 5, Sweep of the Heart. It's not the final book. It's just the most recently released book. I hope it's not the final book. This one's a chunky one. This is the thickest of the series. There is no graphic audio for this, so it will be me reading it physically. There is a normal audio, but I think I'm just going to stick to reading this physically, because let's be honest, the graphic audios are superior. So yeah, there's that. I did not write down the date, but it is either the second or the second to last Friday of the month. At my time is 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. That's what I know it as. And I'm super excited, and I have no idea. They did mention during the last live show that we're going to take like a month-ish break before picking up another Ilona Andrews series, but I'm having so much fun reading through Ilona Andrews' backlist with everybody and chatting about it, and I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited to see what this book is going to be and what exactly is in it. So yeah. And then also, we are most likely going to have an emergency meeting because the Ilona Andrews read-along started with the Kate Daniels series. And in June, on the 13th, we have the release of Magic Claims, which is the spin-off The Wilmington Years, book number 2. When book number 1 came out earlier this year, there was an emergency live show to discuss it about a weekish, 2 weeks after it came out. So I'm assuming we're going to have the same thing. I am going to be reading this as close to release date as I possibly can, and I will try to adjust my reading, like if it's the day before it comes out. I will not pick up another book because I'll just wait for this one to come out. But I'm super excited for this. This is one of my most anticipated books of the month. And that's it for book clubs, really. So 2 books, but... Oh, I will also say, Magic Claims, Ilona Andrews has announced. It is a lot longer, and it is now the length... It is now a short novel, and not a novella. And they said it's about the length of the first... It's longer than the first book in the Innkeeper Chronicles series. So, that's very exciting. And that, yeah, so like I said, that's it for book clubs. Now, June also was the start of a lot of summer reading challenges. A lot of people do quarterly challenges, and summer I feel like is even more popular. There's a lot of people that do quarterly reading challenges every 3 months, but I feel like summer we really get a big influx of them. So there are at least one that I'm going to be doing. But let's talk about the Goodreads challenge ones first. So, I am a part of the it's a reading romance readers reading challenges group on Goodreads. I have everybody linked down below. And there are 2 quarterly challenges that I participate in with them. Now, the one that's there's 2 currently going, and they end in June. The first is the Pretty Pretty Princess board game quarterly challenge. That ends on June 14th. Now, I have already finished all of the normal prompts and my bonus prompts for this challenge, so I don't have anything left to do for this one, but June 15th will be the start of their next reading challenge. I have no idea what it is yet. They usually announce it like a weekish before it starts. You'll find it in all the forum postings. So I'll be participating in that one when that one starts. And then the other quarterly challenge they have going on right now is Read the Season. Now, right now they're doing the Maltese editions. And spring ends June 20th. So I'm assuming June 21st will start the Read the Season Summer Maltese edition. And what this is you have the word summer in the Maltese language, and then you read a book for every letter of summer in Maltese. For the spring one, there's 4 levels. I like this group because there's different levels. Like, you can make it as hard as you want it to be. For the spring one, and most likely all of the other ones are all the similar kind of levels, but there's 4 levels you can meet. The first is just read the season, whatever the season is. 2 is read the season plus 1 holiday. 3 is read the season plus 2 holidays. And 4 is extreme, read the season and all holidays. For the spring one, the extreme is like 70 something prompts. I don't know if I'm going to hit the extreme. I have already hit level 3. So we'll see what happens there. I'm probably not going to hit the extreme because I have like 30 books left. And I don't know if I can get 30 books by June. That's a little higher than my normal reading. And I could probably do it if I switch and read only novellas until then. But I'm not going to do that. So I am excited. Usually the holidays are like 5 to 10 holidays that are popular summer holidays, and then they're also translated into whatever language. Like I said, right now we're doing the Maltese edition. So June 21st, I will also switch over to participating in that. Now, for the normal normal ones. Most summer reading challenges go from June 1st to August 31st. So there are 2 that I'm really excited to potentially participate in. So the first is Feels Like Summer. This is hosted by What Vivi Reads on Instagram. I'll link her down below. I saw this one kind of shared about by a couple of the different readathon people I follow. And what's nice about this one is it's not all book prompts. It's some activity or just easy hit prompts as well. So we will go through and we will read through, and I'll read you what the prompts are. And once again, this lasts through August. So read 5 books, read a book released in June. My sticky note was covering it. Try a new genre. Gift a friend a new book. Read a debut. Join a readathon. Buddy read. Read a library book. Listen to an audiobook. Read a book with a vacation. Treat yourself. Enjoy your summer or listen to yourself. Read a book set in the summer. Read 10 books. Christmas in July, so read a holiday novella. It doesn't have to be Christmas. Read a book released in July, read a new to you author, and then we have make a new books to friend twice in a row. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. I need to ask Vivi and make sure that that wasn't an accident copy, but if so, that's fine. I make more than 2 friends, new friends on Bookstagram a month anyway. Even though I'm not super active, I'm mostly just active in my stories. But anyway, we'll keep going. Read a friend's recommendation. Read outside. Finish an arc or a recent release. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Read a book over 500 pages. Read a book that starts with the letter S, and read a book released in August. So there is that. I don't really have a big release. Oh my gosh. I don't have a big idea list planned for this because, like I said, I do plan on rereading. A lot of this isn't very super specific prompts. I mean, the most specific ones are a vacation and set in summer. And the rest are a little easier to meet, I feel like. But for try a new genre, that would require me going outside of romance. So what I'm instead going to do is read a genre a sub-subgenre that I haven't read in a while, and that is a historical Western romance. So I do plan on picking up a Western romance for that book because it's been a while since I read like a historical Western. And that used to be my go-to for Western, or for my go-to for historical romances back in like high school. So it's been a while. I have some ideas on which books I'd want to pick up. But there is that one. And then the other one, I don't have a bingo board yet. And this is the one where I'm like potentially. I have been participating in the Ripped Bodices Summer Bingo since their second year. And then I participated last year. I have checked their website in the morning and in the evening for like the last week. And this year's bingo board has not been uploaded. I feel like last year I didn't notice it until it was a couple days into June. So I'm assuming they're doing it again. I don't know if they're still going to do it. They usually also have a prize form. So for every bingo you get, you can submit for a prize, and then you can do it for blackout. I think that's max of 5 entries. So if they do this one again, I'm assuming they are, I will be participating. I think this one is super fun. They usually have some prompts thrown on there that are like super niche, super hard to find, and definitely push me to pick up books that I would have never picked up to hit this like super specific prompt. Like one that I always remember a couple years ago was Apple Orchard. And it took me forever to find a book with an apple orchard. And then I finally found one, but it was the 3rd book in a series. So I ended up reading all 3 books so I could get to that 3rd book just to count it for Ripped Bodice, because I don't like to read things out of order. But I don't know why. That one always sticks out in my brain as like one of the ones. Because like apple orchards aren't like, there's a lot of vineyards and like winemaking series, I feel like, but not very many apple orchards that I've seen. So I enjoy that they kind of push the bounds, and there's always something funky. Like, I feel like one year they also had Protagonist Smells Like Bread or something like that. And that one was also kind of difficult to find because a lot of like bakers that we see in romance books smell like cupcakes or cakes, and like they're more on the sweet side, not bread. But then I feel like there's a Smarty Pants romance that came out that summer or in the spring. So it would have been spring because they release in spring and fall. That had somebody that smelled like bread, and everybody was like, perfect timing. So I don't know. I really enjoy it. If you're looking for like harder, more challenging, more like super niche prompts, definitely check out The Ripped Bodice. If they don't end up doing one this year, I might go back and see if I can find the first one and get that one completed, and then I can say I've done all of them, just not in the years they were meant to be. Then the other reading challenge, readathon kind of thing for summer is the Buzzing About Romance, which is a romance podcast. The website is Bookcase and Coffee. They are bringing back their summer reading challenge. However, this year it will be from June 21st through July 31st. So you get like a month and like a week and a half this year. And they also do have a bingo board. However, like Feels Like Summer, this is going to be a mixture. They do have a free space. I'm saying listen to the podcast episode because I want you to listen to the podcast episode. But I think technically it's a free space. So of the other 24 prompts, only half of them, 12 of them, are specifically read a book prompts. The rest are going to be social media challenges, activity challenges, listen to an episode kind of challenges. So I definitely recommend, if you're looking for something a little more easier and you're interested in finding a new romance podcast to listen to, checking out this one. But I'll go over the bingo board real quick, once again going row by row, and then I have something else fun I want to chat about with this one. So starting in the top right or top left corner, participate in Mug Monday. So that's a social media prompt. Read a book by a BIPOC author. Stack your favorite trope. Read a book from the top books of 2022 podcast episode. Go on a bookish outing. Read a new to you author. Read a book by an author featured on Happy Hour. Share your favorite summer reading spot. Read a novella. Have a book date. Read a book from a Trope Talk recommendation episode. Give a shout out to a favorite indie author. Free space, or Buzzing About Romance, which I'm going to say listen to an episode. I think it's supposed to be a free space, but I'm going to say listen to an episode. Stack your June TBR. Have a beverage inspired by your current read. Share your favorite romance cover. Do something bookish with a friend. Read a book with a beach theme. Read a book with a LGBTQ plus main character. Read a book featured on a quick shot of romance episode. Read a book that's been on your TBR for 1 year or more. Visit your library or a free little library. Share a shelfie. Participate in a buddy read with a book from episode 148. And read a book from the Girl Crush list. So a couple of things. Quick shots of romance are like bonus episodes outside of their normal podcast episodes. They're usually, I want to say, like 10 to 20 minutes long, talking about a book. A lot of the times it's a new release or a new find by one of the hosts or contributors. They're super quick, super fun, a good way to kind of, they don't really review, they more just kind of discuss the book. I think it's a good way, I think, if you don't mind spoilery type things, to figure out if that's a book you want to read. Their Girl Crush list is like their top heroines from 2022. You can find that episode. They also have happy hours, and those are actually on YouTube, and those are live interviews with an author, typically when an author has a new release. And those are super fun. I love participating in them. I put them in my calendar, and yeah, I'm a big fan of the Buzzing About Romance, extended universe, because while Becky and Leah, those are the two main podcast hosts, and Becky is the creator of this all. They typically read or discuss on the podcast contemporary books. However, there is like a spin-off sister podcast called Corset and Crown where they mostly just discuss historical romances. And I highly recommend them. I love them to pieces. But the fun, little nerdiness that I'm going to add to it is I will also link down below a spreadsheet I've created for myself that I wanted to share in case other people wanted to use it. To kind of help track their episodes. So I went through and I listed out what their books of the week were, and if I've listened to a podcast before, so I can just mark if I like what ones I've listened to. I feel like it also helps because it's very easily searchable. So if you're looking for like a Trope Talk episode for the prompts, you can just search Trope Talk and then you can see the different tropes that they've done episodes on, and because they call them Trope Talks. And then you can kind of go from there and be like, okay, I want to see stuff from this episode. And then you can go to that episode and listen to it and get a prompt. Also for the Quick Shot of Romances in their happy hours, I have like drop down boxes where have I listened to the podcast episode or watched the live show? Yes or no. And then if I've read the book, and that's either yes on my TBR or no. And so that's just something fun to kind of help me keep track of what's going on. And I didn't kind of realize it, but I feel like it's perfect timing because you can use that as a quick reference to search and see what you might want if you are going to participate in their reading challenge. They are also working on a huge spreadsheet that will eventually be a wiki page of every single book that they've ever talked about. I didn't focus on that. I focused on just the podcast episodes in general, and then if they had a book of the week. So I feel like you can use both in tandem if you would like, but I'm just throwing it out there that my nerdy self created another freaking spreadsheet specifically for this podcast. If that doesn't tell you how much I enjoy this podcast, I don't know what will. So there are those. Now, the other readathon that I am participating in is the yearly readathon that's a part of the Magical Readathon. And so this is a year in Aldea, and this is one prompt a month outside of April and August. There are no prompts in that month because that's when the spring and autumn equinox readathons are. But for the month of June, my traveling... what do you call it? This thing. My map. My route that I'm taking. I had two different options, and I'm going with visit a locked library, which is read a book you already own. So at the very least, this will work for that. But I'll probably read a book I already own before that one. And that's it for readathons. I know there are lots of other readathons going on this month. I saw the tarot readathon was coming back, and I was really interested in that one. But I really want to focus on mood reading and not pinholing myself too much. And I know that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to pinhole myself, and then I'm joining all these reading challenges. But I feel like a lot of these are more long-term. And I feel like outside of the Rib Bodice one, a lot of them have very easily met prompts that I can read within different subgenres and meet very easily. So that's why I probably won't be doing any specific readathons. Unless one pops up that's like a short one that I really am interested in. But we'll see what happens. I could change my mind. For new releases, I do quarterly release videos. So June is in my quarter 2 one. I will link it up above. But I did want to touch base on a couple of books that I have discovered, that have been announced since I filmed that way back in March. And I do want to bring up 3 of them. I do have a list of more that I'm keeping my eye on, but I'm just going to talk about 3 outside of Magic Claims that I mentioned earlier in this video. So, the first is Kissing My Brother's Bride by Molly McLean. This is the first book in the Kissing Games series. It's going to be on KU. And this is a multi-author series. And they all have kissing in the title. A couple, I think the first 2 or 3 books are supposed to come out this month. But I'm very excited for this one because it has my favorite trope. So, I wanted to talk about that one. On 6/20, so that one comes out June 1st. I don't know if I said that. Then on the 27th, we have Angerbang by Avery Flynn. I'm a fan of Avery Flynn. I'm typically not a big enemies to lover or hate to love trope enjoyer, which is funny because I love fantasy romance, and I feel like most fantasy romance have enemies to lover or hate to love in them, but that's just like a side thing. But this one sounds intriguing. This definitely, I can't remember exactly. I kind of skimmed the blurb when she first announced it and left it at that. But if I remember correctly, this seems like it's like bridesmaid, best man kind of situation. I know, it's Avery Flynn, and I'm excited to read a new book by her. And then the other one I really want to touch base on is Craving in His Blood by Zoe Draven. There is no cover yet. As of filming this, she said the cover and pre-order date and release date and pre-order and all that is supposed to be up within a weekish, hopefully. But it is coming. It's been through beta reads. It's going through edits. I am very excited. This is book 2 in her Brides of the Kylor series. I'm ready for a new book from Zoe Draven, and I don't know when. I'm assuming probably mid to late June, just because we don't have cover yet and anything like that. But I'm ready for it whenever she's ready to give it to us. And that's it for new releases. Now, I do want to touch base on 2 other things real quick before we wrap up. I do plan on doing a dedicated reading vlog. I'm not going to tell you what books, and I'm not going to tell you the exact trope, although if you've seen my other videos or follow me on Bookstagram, you know what my favorite trope is. But I do plan on doing a dedicated reading vlog of reading books that are my favorite trope, of which one of them may or may not have been mentioned in the new releases. I don't know if that one will be in this reading vlog, but it has been a while since I've read my favorite trope, and I'm excited and I really want to read one. So we're going to do that. I don't know when it'll be up in June, hopefully mid to late June, but my plan is to read at least 3. It might be 4. It depends on how much I talk about it. But that will be coming. And then we have some books that I just would like to read. So, like I mentioned, I plan on doing a lot of mood reading, and I really want to read a lot of historical romance. So, I know this has been on my TBR for the last couple months, and I still have not read it, and that is The Wolf and the Wallflower by Stacey Reid. I still need to read it, and I keep saying now is the time, but guess what? Now is the time. If it has to be the first book I pick up in June, it will be the first book I pick up in June. But I need to read this. I am in a huge historical mood, and I can't remember if I said this before or if I just thought it in my head, but I have been really wanting to read a lot of historical romance. And when I have picked up historical romance, I've had to stop myself the last couple months from not going into a binge mode of historical romance, because when I binge historical romance, I don't leave it for a couple weeks. And I just was not in a position of being able to do that unless I would just want to say, screw all my book clubs and other things that I committed myself to doing. So I think June is going to start out with cozy historical romance for me. But that's perfect because my birthday is in the beginning of June. So I think I'm just going to read what I want. And that'll be mostly historical romance, maybe with some fantasy romance thrown in there, but we'll see what happens. But this is definitely for sure, when I sit down and start my historical binge, this will be one of the books that I pick up for sure. And then the other ones that I would like to get to, I don't know if it will be all of them, but the next series I have of reading through Vivian Lorette's backlist is her Rakes of Fallow Hall series. So the first is The Elusive Lord Everhart. Then we have The Devilish Mr. Dampers, which he is the older brother of the heroine in Daring Miss Danvers, which is the first book in her first series, The Wallflower Weddings. So this is her older brother, which is fun. And then the third and final book in this trilogy is The Maddening Lord Montwood. So this is the only series by her that I have not read any of the books. So all 3 of these are going to be new to me. The other series I have left of not having read everything in full length size-wise is the following one, which is the Misadventures in Matchmaking, I believe. I've read the first book in that, which is the Amnesia one, which is, I think, How to Forget a Duke, I think, maybe, possibly. It escapes me, maybe in this moment. But I am very excited to continue. I'm going to say my goal will be to read at least 2 of these this month, but maybe I'll get through all 3. But this is very exciting because then I have the other 2 books in the Misadventures of Matchmaking series left. And then I have, after that, she published the season original series, of which I have read all the full-length books. There is a novella in that I have never read. And that was actually the first series I read from her that started my love for Vivian Loret. And then after that was The Mating Habits of Scoundrels, which is the series that just wrapped up. It was also the first series that wasn't a trilogy. There's 5 books in that one. And then in November, we have the start of her new series, The Liars Club. And I'm very excited. That is supposed to come out, I think, November 28th, if I remember correctly. So my goal is to get through Vivian Loret's backlist by the new release. And then maybe not, I'll do a guide to the author. So if you're interested in that and you want to learn more about Vivian Loret, let me know down below and maybe I'll work on putting together an author guide. But she's one of my favorite historical romance authors, and I'm very excited to get into this because this is the one series that I haven't read any books in, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So that's all I have for you. I do want to mention, I know that it is Pride Month. And so you might be wondering, where are your Pride books? I am very particular about the Pride books I pick up, the LGBTQ plus books I read. I like to really kind of dig into reviews, chats about the author, and just the situation behind it, because sometimes I feel like there's some problematic issues behind the scenes, or it just touches base and it feels funky. Like I know that it's very common in MM, maybe not very common, but I know that a common complaint about a lot of MM books is it feels like it's like gay for you, or it's kind of like a almost forced into announcing their sexual identity situation. So I like to try to avoid books like that. But I'm just going to loop that into my mood reading plans. But I do have a couple MM series specifically that I really want to continue on in. But I'm also a big believer in reading diversely all year long and not just packing all those reads into 1 month. Like I read Asian authors all year long, not just in AAPI month. And the same with Black authors and, you know, chronically ill authors and things like that. I just think you should read diversely all year, all the time. Cheese agrees with me, apparently. So I am not going to overload LGBTQ plus books in the month of June, because to me that feels performative and I don't want to, like, that just feels icky to me. So I'm not going to do that. But I will pick up a couple in celebration, but I'll just continue adding them into my TBRs and what I pick up. Hi. Oh my goodness. Throughout the year like normal. So I just want to throw that out there in case you're like, where are the Pride books? They are in there, just not, I haven't picked out what they are yet. Although I will say, I most likely will be picking up one, if not more, of Maz Maddox's Relic series, because those dinosaur shifters, those are fun. And I need to read more in that series for sure. So it'll probably be one of those, but there may or may not be others thrown in. So Cheese really wants to say hi. So we're going to say hi. Hi. See, my mommy is sitting in my window. And if you didn't notice, I'm in my bedroom today. I don't know if I said that. I think I did. I know there's people rocking around outside, huh? But thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to leave me a comment down below, leave me what you're super excited to read in June, or if there's any new releases you're super interested in, and I'll definitely put them on my radar as well. If you'd like to just leave me an emoji, leave me your favorite summer emoji, since we're getting into summertime. So like popsicle, beach stuff, whatever you want, ocean animal. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on outside, huh? But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you all soon with another video.